Dr. Sujata Mohan, uh, welcome you once again for this
Namaste.
talk. We're all looking forward. So she's one of the senior most disciples of the world-renowned Padma Vibhushan Dr. Padma Subramaniam. So that itself starts off on a great scale. Sujata ji, she's completed her master's and MPhil research project on dance from Sanskrit sources at Presidency College. After having started her career as a lecturer, she completed her MFA in Bharatanatyam under Shastra University and completed PhD in Natya Shastra at the Sri Chandrasekhara Saraswati University in Kanchipuram. She's been in this field for more than 4 decades now and has accompanied her guru widely. She started her own institution, Padma Shri Nrityalaya, and which has produced a lot of students of good caliber, having conducted their arangetrams. And her goal seems to be in a quality conscious system. That's very important rather than just a quantity. She's choreographed also more than 100 songs for the Markham repertoire. She's received Senior Research Fellowship and from the Government of India, which was on visualizing Kalidasa's Drishya Kavyas through the Natya Shastra. And she has attended several international seminars and presented papers in the World Sanskrit Conference and repeatedly. And I'm happy to say that in this coming month, both of us are going to be at the World Sanskrit Conference in Kathmandu starting June 25th. So she's also co-authored Gita Govinda, a very useful book for our students especially, which has been published in 2018. And she also works as visiting professor at the MGR Janaki College and of course in our university. And head of department in MGR Janaki College. She has the same college. She has worked in the past as the head of the department. And she has also received the prestigious Tagore Research Fellowship. And her topic is Sangeeta Muktavali in that. And some of her awards are Bharatanatyam Priya Padma Bharati, Sahitya Bharatanatyam Sundaram, and so on. So thank you, Sujata ji, and looking forward to your talk today on Uparupakas. Thank you.
Namaste. Thank you so much, Padmajaji, for such a nice introduction. And yeah, we are going to Kathmandu and we'll be meeting there. And that's nice, especially for the Sanskrit conference and from Aria University. So now, today's topic, my topic, I've gone into exploring the Uparupakas. Uparupakas can be connected with our present day dance dramas. The dance dramas or the Nritya Natakas or even the Gaya Natakas, which were sung, were also danced. So, let us explore the Uparupakas, varieties of Uparupakas which were prevalent those days. But of course, now we have a common term called production, which is very much equated with this dance dramas. So anything, whatever we do, we call it as a production. But these terms were there, Rupakas. Rupakas were drama varieties. According to Bharata, there were Rupakas which were 10 in number. 10 forms of play. Nataka, Prakarana, Anka. Anka which was called as Utsrishtikanka. Vyayoga, Bhana, Samavakara, Viti, Prahasana, Dima and Iha Mriga. These are all the Rupakas, the 10 varieties of dramas. So now we have the term Nataka. We generalize the term Nataka. But according to Bharata, Nataka was the first form of the drama. Nataka, which was the major form of the drama, which considered the storyline of everything, like hero, heroine, and the regular love story. That was the main content of a Nataka. And of course, Prakarana had a different imaginative story. Anka was one act story. Vyayoga was there with a little bit of fighting. Bhana was one man performance. Samavakaras, there were also Samavakaras which were also connected with more of fighting sequences. Veeti was a two-man show. Prahasana was again a humorous drama. Dima was based on the some of the fighting sequences, and Ihamraga. So these were the varieties of dramas given by Bharata, and according to this, there were many dramas written during Bharata's time. There were many dramas written in these, based on these forms. Like now we have the genre of humor, of terror, and everything, right? In the films like that, there were varieties of dramas. They were Uparupakas. Natakam sa prakaranam anko vyayoga evacha bhanaha samavakarascha viti prahasanam dimaha nihamrigascha vigneya dashema natya lakshana etesham lakshanam aham vakshi vyakyasyamyaha Anupurvashaha, says Bharata in 20th chapter. Starting from Natakam, I will be exploring on to the varieties of dramas, he says. But now we are moving on to the varieties other than these Natakam. We all know, like, we have Rama, Sita, Krishna, all these stories come under, the main stories come under Nataka. As you all know, these 10 forms of drama are traditionally associated with styles, that is the vrittis. We all know there are 4 vrittis, Bharati, Satvati, Kaishaki, and Arabhati. So these are all there seen in the Nataka. So Nataka is a holistic performance. If you take Sampurna Ramayana or Sita Kalyanam or Rama Pattabhishekam, it will be a Nataka. But if you take Vali Vadam, or if you take Sugriva Sakyam, or if you take any other plot, short plot from the main drama, it can come under any of the varieties of drama. As mentioned earlier, maybe Vyayoga, because we have the Samavakara, Amrita Mantana as Samavakara mentioned in Natya Shastra itself. So the Amrita Mantana, the fighting, the churning of the ocean, fighting between the Asuras and Devas were brought under the Samavakara variety. So these are the varieties, and the Nataka had all these 4 vrittis. The vrittis are how we render the scene. That is, the performance of the drama as such is based on the styles. It might be more of Bharati. Like we say now, my today's lecture is more of Bharati vritti. I speak a lot. I'm not going to play any videos. I have some pictures, of course, but it is more of Bharati vritti. If it is more of dancing and I'm not going to talk anything, it will be more of Kaishaki vritti. So these vrittis differ, and Bharata says Nataka should have all the vrittis. If it is more of dressing up and the props are there on my sides and everything is arranged, then it will become more of Arabhati vritti. And if it is more intense with Abhinaya, with Sattva, it becomes the Satvati vritti. So these vrittis are very important in connection with the Natakas, of course. So now let us move on to the varieties of drama. The vrittis are involved. And the Nataka and Prakarana has all the vrittis according to Bharata. And the other dramas, Bhana, Samavakara, Viti, Iha, Mriga, and Anka, Vyayoga, Dima, and Prahasana would not include Kaishiki Vritti, which is the graceful style. So Kaishiki Vritti is not there in these varieties of drama. That is more of dancing or more of graceful elements or more of love subject is not there in these. So this is how this variety of Uparupaka came into existence. So now, coming back to these Uparupakas, Uparupakas are minor varieties of Rupakas. Bharata, after giving the first two varieties, Rupaka, Natika, Nataka, and Prakarana, he gives one short paragraph on Natika. Nati, he says. Natika, he says, it is a combination of Nataka and Prakarana, and it also has some musical and dance elements. That's all. But he doesn't mention the 10, under the 10 varieties, the Nati. But in the content, maybe it might be an interpolation later added, but it is there in the text of Natya Shastra. So Natika, mentioned by Bharata, later paves way for the Uparupakas. So now, what are these Uparupakas? They are dance-based dramas. These are all coming under dance dramas of our present day, where we dance the drama. But according to Bharata, it was drama and in between dance. So a drama will be going on, there will be dance sequences in between, and it will be continued by the drama element again. But these dance dramas which we present now are more of the dramas which we dance. But according to Bharata, though, Uparupakas had more of dancing elements. So what is Natika? Considering Natika enumerated by Bharata as a form of minor type of drama, that is, the other Uparupakas should have evolved during course. During the 9th and 10th century, a number of short dramas were written with more of entertainment elements. About 18 to 20 varieties of these, referred to as Uparupakas, minor theatrical forms, are described in works of dramaturgy. So we have these nearly 18 to 20 collected from various textual sources. We don't have the performance, I won't say we don't have, but I'm not able to see the names of these Uparupakas, dramas written. Maybe some are there, like Karpura Manjari, and some of the dramas are there, but not that much as given by the scholars, by the authors. They were all more of dance dramas, where the dance was included in the drama and other things. So Bharata considered music and dance as the bedrock of drama. So Vachi yatnastu kartavyaha. He says Vachika is the base. As yesterday Padmajaji was telling, first we have to go and collect the base, collect the lyrics, write the lyrics, or compose the music for the lyrics, and then work on the choreography. So that is the base for any dance drama, any Uparupaka, any Rupaka. So there are musical compositions called Dhruvas mentioned in Natya Shastra, which are interspersed in the dramas in order to add beauty. So if you see Sanskrit dramas like Shakuntalam, we have more of the shlokas there. these shlokas might not be the dhruvas. Nowadays, what we do is we take the shlokas and we sing the shlokas as dharus. But there were extra dhruvas written in the Dramida or in the Prakrita languages. All the shlokas were in Sanskrit. The dhruvas were written mostly in Prakrit language. That is, when you take a drama, when you present a drama, maybe I perform one Tamil drama and I take it to Karnataka, then I have to include some of the Kannada based dhruvas. Or if I take it to Maharashtra, I will include some Marathi based dhruvas. The Dramida or Andhra or any Prakrita dhruvas to connect it with the audience. So these dhruvas were mostly included, interspersed in the drama in order to add beauty. Naturally, the music elements will be there. So naturally, the dance elements will be there. They have lyrical value, lilting notes, rhythmic instrumental music, along with some gait and action of the actors. That is the dancing elements. Dhruva songs have specific talas and time measures and are melodic in nature. So the textual portions were sung, created more interest in the audience. The Dhruva songs were important aspects in the Uparupakas because they were all sung and this was a dance drama, musical drama, and were useful to determine the rhythm of the gait in entry and exit or other movements in the main play as well. That is, we can have the entry, exit, maybe in Kantanadai or Mishranadai or Tishranadai. We can change accordingly based on the tala, and it will be very interesting to the audience. The change in Sanskrit theatre from Rupakas to Uparupakas is marked by increasing usage of music and dance. That is how the difference between Rupakas and Uparupakas. Rupakas, especially Nataka, had some music elements, of course, but it was not more of dancing elements. Even Bharata says in the Purvaranga has more of dance. But he said, don't extend the Purvaranga much because the main story will be lost. He says, go into the story quickly. So the Purvaranga should be short, he says. It need not be, because it is not directly connected with the story of that particular drama. So this is how we have the Uparupakas here. And see, that is how I took some pictures from, of course, the Kalakshetra archives, where everything was made as dance drama. So these are the present day varieties. Of course, we had earlier day Uparupakas. So Bharata, in the chapter of Tandava Lakshana, says that Nritta is the dance form which consists of charis, karanas and angaharas. So charis are performed for representing the fight and discharge of weapons on the stage. The karanas are used in parikrama of different characters, battle and angaha and combats, and also in Nritta, which is interspersed in Natya. So this is how we have the elements of angaharas, that is the sequential movements, the combination of karanas, which are of uddhata, forceful, and sukumara, graceful nature. These play an important role in the delineation of Nritta. So that is how the karanas were brought into these Rupakas and Uparupakas as a part of Nritta. So it is more of the body language, where the Vakyartha Abhinaya, the Karanas give the Vakyartha Abhinaya. So it was more included in these dramas, where it gave interest to the audience because it was Nrittam Sarvam Ishtam. Bharata says everybody likes Nritta. Shubham, auspicious. Shobham Janayati. He says it creates beauty. That's why, because in Natya Shastra, the rishis ask, Bharata Muni, they ask, you have given already the Abhinaya, which communicates the story of the drama. Then why do we need Nritta? For that, Bharata answers, Nritta does not expect any meaning to be an outcome. If it communicates, it's fine, but it is not necessarily communicating. Artham na apekshate, kintu but shobham janayati. But it gives beauty. So if you want to show a deer, especially in Shakuntalam, we have beautiful natakas. The Dushyanta says that the deer is coming. So you show it with the Padartha Abhinaya as you deliver the dialogue. But if you want to make it more beautiful, then you have to create one character as a deer and do the Vakyartha Abhinaya of Harina Pluta, the jumping and the moving of the deer through the Karana called Harina Pluta. So it makes more, adds beauty. Though the message is conveyed that the deer is there, let us go and proceed hunting. But when you bring in the Vakyartha Abhinaya, it gives you more beauty. That is what he means here. So the Gati is more important. Gati becomes an important aspect of the dance elements of dramas. Gati is generally based on the rhythmic sequences in dance. So we have, as I told you, the varieties we can include. The instruments can be played based on the structure of the song. The swaras or the mnemonic syllables such as jatis or the sollukatas, and for which the Nritta Gati can be performed. Thus, Gatis can be enacted with the Charis, Karanas, and Angaharas. And it adds beauty to the drama. It adds beauty to the Abhinaya. So, Bharata says Chari is to be performed along with Gati and with the support of instrument of Tala. Gati can be placed in Natya as a stylized walk, in Nritta and Nritya as dance movements. Thus, these two arts took an important place in the performance of these minor forms, Uparupakas. So that is how these Uparupakas were more dance-based. So the Natya Shastra does not mention any Uparupaka, but treats of Natika. As I said, just one shloka where he talks about Nati. However, later writers describe a number of dance and musical operatic ballets. Some of the Rupakas like Viti and Anga cannot be termed as proper dramas. Some take those as even Uparupakas. And the same way, some Uparupakas like Natika and Trotaka are brought under the variety of dramas like Rupakas. If you take the Uparupaka, Natika, some bring in Malavika Agnimitra as Natika, and some have considered Vikramorvashiya as Trotaka. So these are all regular drama. These can be brought even under the Nataka elements. So that is how there were beautiful varieties. Some of these dramas like Rasaka, Hallisaka, Nartanaka, Chalita, Samya, Lasya are still in the form of dance. Okay, though they are not considered as Uparupakas nowadays, there are forms of dance connected with these terms. Some of these are evidently derived from the system of dance given in Natya Shastra, especially the Lasya. Though the term Tandava Lasya is not given in Natya Shastra according to present day understanding, Tandava as the male dance and Lasya as the female dance. Earlier, Tandava was a name given for Nritta in a generic way, and Lasya was given as a term for the graceful dance which was included in a drama. So these two terms are found in Natya Shastra, but in different chapters, in different with different meaning. But after 10th century, it became Tandava, Lasya, the male performance and the feminine grace. So now coming back here, this Lasya is danced by one person, single person. It is to be used in a play, hence presumably not independently as a performance on its own. That's what Bharata says. So he brings this Lasyanga under the variety of, after giving the Dasharupakas, especially all the Dasharupakas, he give one paragraph or maybe few slokas on Lasyanga. We will see to that. So Post Bharata authors have explored many varieties of Uparupakas. Natika, Trotaka, Saktaka, Bhanika, Dombika, Rasaka, Natya Rasaka, Danda Rasaka, Prastanaka, Nartanaka, Hallisaka, Ragakavya, Ullopyaka, Prekshanaka, Sallapaka, Shilpaka, Goshti, Srigatida, Durmalli, Mallika, Vilasika, Parijataka, Ramakrida, and so on. I've brought in the Uparupakas from various texts. Music and dance formed an integral part in the Uparupakas. And in Uparupakas, even the dialogues pertaining to Vachikabhinaya were sung in the musical notes and danced, like what we are doing now, are similar to the Uparupakas. So Angika Vinaya became prominent and Kaishiki Vritti became very, very prominent. Out of these Uparupakas, Natika and Trotaka are very, very famous. These can be related to the Geya Natakas and Nritya Natakas, which are present day dance drama forms. So Kohala has said to be the first person to talk about the Uparupakas, but his works are not available. Kohala's name has been mentioned by Bharata. So he has said that Kohala is my student who will give you the Uttara Tantra, the later chapters of Natya. Then comes 10th century Dasharupaka, written by Dhananjaya. Then Moja Sringara Prakasha, and of course Abhinava Bharati, the commentary on Natya Shastra, and other works of medieval period, which can be considered as the available sources for Uparupakas. Bhoja in Sringara Prakasha gives a detailed description of Uparupakas. Later writers such as Sharada Tanaya, Sagaranandin, and Vishwanatha also have elaborated on this topic. Sharada Tanaya has taken many verses from Bhoja's work and explained further in his source. So Abhinav Gupta, coming to Abhinav Gupta's commentary on Natya Shastra, mentions the names of the Uparupakas such as Trotaka, Sattaka, Asaka, and so on, has dealt with by Kohala. He also mentions the names of many Uparupakas such as Prastanaka, Shilpaka, Bhanaka, Ragakavya, Banika, Prerana, Ramakrida, Rasaka, Halishaka and quotes many lines from the Uparupakas called Dombika in his Abhinava Bharati. There are many Prakrit lines in Abhinava Bharati which are from Dombika, he says. Other than this, Abhinava quotes Kohala's verse on an Uparupaka called Kavya. Abhinava says that these Uparupakas are predominantly music and dance oriented. So, Abhinavagupta quotes these in this chapter of Tandava Lakshana, especially while discussing about Natya and Nritta. There is a very vast discussion in the fourth chapter, Abhinava Bharati, about Natya and Nritta. Are they both same? Are they different? Why they are different? What is the difference between Natya and Nritta? Why it is called Nritta? Sorry, not Nritya, Nritta. Why it is called Nritta? All these discussions are there. The Purva Paksha, we say, the scholars who ask questions and the answers are given and the discussions are done in fourth chapter. There he talks about these Uparupakas also. But of course, they are all in Prakrita. So it's little difficult to understand that old form of variety of Samskrita. Natika, which has the features of Nataka and Prakarana as mentioned in Natya Shastra. Trotaka is similar to Nataka and Sattaka and is mostly in Prakrit. Sattaka is mostly in Prakrit. He says Natika, Trotaka and Sattaka are to be known as Rupakas only. They are also Rupakas, he says. But Dombika and others alike are of musica and gestures based and they do not have more of speech. So they can be brought under Uparupakas, he says. Abhinava quotes ancient authorities giving the definitions of Dombikas and calls them as Nrittamatrika or Nrittatmaka. So they are based on Nritta, these Dombikas. Bhoja of early 11th century in Sringara Prakasha mentions 12 varieties of Uparupakas, but leaves Trotaka and Dombika. So these are all, as I told you, some include, some do not include. It is similar to our Hastas. Natya Shastra has some of the Abhinaya Hastas extra, which Abhinaya Darpana does not have. Natya Shastra has the Pada Vedas, but Abhinaya Darpana does not have the actual Pada Vedas like Samam, Udghatitam, all these. Only if you see, only the Brahmari, Utplavana, Sthana, Mandala Vedas are seen in Abhinaya Darpana. The Pada, feet, varieties are not given. Same way the Dashavatara Hasta and the later Hastas, Jati Hastas, these are all not seen in Natya Shastra or even for Sankita Ratnakara or Vittaratnamani. So these evolutions happen and according to the period of that particular text, which was popular during that time, they are writing texts on those, like our present day. If somebody writes a text on Adamus, everybody does the same thing because it is popular in our period and everybody wants to prove their knowledge in those Adamus and their varieties of Adamus are different. So they start writing books on Adamus. So that is how even at that time, the scholars had written books, but to give their own expertise on that particular field of interest. Sharada Tanaya, around 13th century, in Bhava Prakasha says that the subgroup of Rupakas, that is Uparupakas, is of 20 and they are called Nritya Vedas. As I told you, after Dasharupaka, it became Nritta, Nritya and Natya. The three terms clearly subdivided. Natya was the holistic form according to Bharata and Nritta was the dance interspersed in Natya according to Bharata. But later, this Nritta was classified as Nritta and Nritya. And of course, Natya was more a dance based, but mind based, story based dance. And Nritta was more of Anga based, Anga Vikshepa. Anga Vikshepa matram tu sarva abhinayam varjati. It doesn't have any abhinaya. This is what given by many of the authors. Maybe at that time, even now, do the Adavas give any abhinaya? No. It doesn't communicate anything. That's what they say. The communication, if you want to communicate anything, even one line, it becomes a Nritya variety. So that is how these were segregated, and these were Nritya Vedas, which are performed as Padartha Abhinayas. He also adds that the 10 Rupakas are Rasatmaka and the 20 are Bhavatmaka. So generally it is there. Natyam Rasatmakam, Nrityam Bhavatmakam. There are terms which say that because it is not going to give you the holistic story. So that if you take the Ramayana, all elements are brought into it. So it becomes a Rasatmaka, they say. If you give a short version or if you give a condensed version, it becomes more of Bhavatmaka because you explore only that particular area and that which has a particular bhava. That is how those days they have given. He separates Natika, Sataka and Trotaka as parts of Nataka and Prakarana and gives Dombika, Srigadita, Bana, etc. as Nrityatmaka varieties. Vishwanatha, author of Sahitya Darpana, belonged to 13th century. He added one more variety called Prakaranika, similar to Natika. So Nataka, Prakarana, you had Natika, Prakaranika, he had added. One. So coming to the Lasyangas, as already I told you, Lasyangas are the ancillaries of Lasya. Lasya Anga. The 10 are enumerated by Bharata in the 20th chapter, especially after the explaining the Nataka and all the varieties of Rupakas. He describes the performance of Lasyanga under the Dasharupaka and even under the Tala chapter, because it has a lot to do with the Tala also, he says. These can be brought under the Kaishiki Vritti, that is the graceful style of the body. The song and the dance sequences are there, and it is based on the Shringara Rasa. Abhinavagupta says Lasya as a graceful form of dance that involves music happens to be a part of Sukumara varieties of drama. So this Lasya is a part of the drama Nataka, and it is a one-woman performance. After Bana, he says, like Bana is one-man show, this is one-woman performance. Maybe either the heroine in between the Nataka performs a solo, like our Padam or a Varnam, because it has Tala varieties also. So we can't completely connect it with Padam or Javali. It has to be connected with the present day Varnam also. So it comes, like if you see even the Bhagavata Mela, there are the Swarajatis in between the Natakam, where the Nayika sings her own love. So that Swarajati is connected with our present day Ananda Bhairavi Swarajati. I saw one Bhagavata Mela, Usha Parinayam, where the present day Ananda Bhairavi Swarajati is seen in that Bhagavata Mela. So it is danced by that Nayika. So maybe some of the elements like that solo could have been the lasyangas which were interspersed in the dramas. So this is explained at length in the commentary on the Thala Adhyaya, where also Bharata describes that the lasya in connection with the laya, that is the Thala and laya. Bharata in the Thala chapter, he says it is defined as lasya because it's lasana. Lasanat lasya muchyate. Lasana, shining nature, and it relates to women and men. Here he says these words, women and men, not in the Dasharupaka chapter. It could be pertaining to single idea or based on several ideas. Here it can be connected with performances in Purvaranga and is based on the movements and Thala. So he also connects it with the performances in Purvaranga. So that is how this lasya is brought in. So it's a small part of dance which can be in Purvaranga or in between the Natya. That is how the lasya was introduced in the Nataka. Bharata enumerates Tala, Vritti, Pani, etc. for all the lasyangas. But of course, they are all very difficult. Unless and otherwise a musical person sits with a Sanskrit or a dance person and discusses, we won't be able to bring out the beauty of that lasyanga again accordingly. And so the gates should be performed based on these elements. Because I did my PhD on gate, I connected these lasyangas with the gatis. And I could just give the base for the lasyangas. I could not fully reconstruct, but and I don't know what I reconstructed was correct or also not. I didn't have any proof. So I could not submit it for my PhD. Because PhD needs some proof. So that is how these lasyangas can be performed with suitable charis, karanas, and angaharas. So coming to the Natika, the first drama. Okay, we have 40 minutes more. Natika has an imaginative plot. The hero is well-known figure. As I told you, Malavika Agnimitra can be taken as a Natika. Has been taken by some scholars. Considering mostly women characters, the play should have 4 acts, should abound in Shringara Rasa and Kaishiki Vritti. It should have more of dance, music, and recitative elements. Like the story should center on a maiden in the harem or a damsel of the music hall. So Malavika is a dancer. So Malavika Agnimitra has been brought under the Agnimitra and Malavika. I have just brought in 2 pictures. They are not Malavika or Agnimitra. So these types of Natikas, it has more of elements of humor. So it had dance elements, etc. So these were coming under Natika. This type of dance drama had predominantly gaits based on Nritta, which has movements and rhythm. Boja defines it as that which has Lalita Binaya. The Charchari dances are employed in this play. This is performed with Nrittagati. Ratnavali and Priyadarshika are examples of Natika. Malavika Agnimitram is also considered as Natika by some scholars. Kalidasa refers to a special dance called Chalita, in which it is danced by Malavika. Chalita contains the 4 Abhinayas, he says. It is of Jati and Swara, comprising of Shringara and Laya. This dance is mainly of Shringara Rasa and is based on Chatushpada, 4 parts. This Chalita has references in Uparupakas as a dance. Bharata describes this as performed by women mostly in Madhya Laya. It is not very fast or very slow. Here the Nritta Gati can be performed by the Angaharas of Sukumara variety in the Madhya Gati, medium tempo, Madhya Laya. And coming to this place, I just wanted to add, in Bharata Natya Shastra, we have the 3 layas, Dhruta, Madhya and Vilamba. These are the technical terms which can be connected with our present day. And 3 yatis, Sama, Shrotovaha and Gopucha. I found only these 2 elements connected with present day music. All the other terms are unknown to us, dancers especially. I'm not talking about the musicians. They are all beautiful terms connected with the dance, but we don't know. We are not able to connect with our present day Varnam or Padam or Tillana or Chavali, anything. There are many terms which can be worked on. Here, the Nritta Gati can be performed by the Angaharas. Of course, due to great credit, my Guru Dr. Padma Subramaniam, we are able to know what is Angahara, what is Karana, what is Rechaka, what are Hastakaranas, what are Uttahastas. All these, if she had not done the research, we will be alien to these dance terms also. Because we just know Karanas are some poses, but they were not explained or they were not intricately detailed and defined and given to us. So the combinations of the Karanas are called Angaharas for those who want to know. So it is like a korvai, Adavu and a korvai, Karana and Angahara. These are performed by single dancers and ekaharya, like what we do in Bharatanatyam, single costume. Malavika Agnimitram, which is termed as a Natika by scholars like Raghavan, has some references of Lasyangas. They are applied in Natikas as they are music and dance based along with Kaishiki Vritti. So Natika is a beautiful form, especially the Malavika Agnimitra, where she sings her love to the king in the guise of, like, as we also as dancers, we perform the song Terivil Varano in front of the huge audience. But we think of the God and do. Maybe if a young girl is performing and her husband is there in the audience, she will connect it with that for him. Like that, Malavika connected the song with Agnimitra. Nobody knew that Malavika loved Agnimitra and Agnimitra loved Malavika in the performance. So they were watching as the performance was so beautiful. She was fully in love and her expression was so beautiful. Everybody liked the performance. But they didn't know that it was the real content of Malavika delivered to Agnimitra. That was the beauty of that song, that Charita song in Malavika Agnimitra. Coming to the Trotaka, next variety, considering a musical play, because music with dance and songs played a prominent part. Music and dance like Charchari, Dvipadi are seen in this. This involves more of dance like gates. The Uparupakas of Dhananjaya mentions a dance called Trotaka. Dance itself is called Trotaka. In Vikramoorvashiya, we have an appendix for the Act 4. It's so beautiful, full of musical songs sung by the king, Pururavas. Vikramoorvashiya is an example because some of the Dhruvas are seen in this Act 4. There are many songs. Kalidasa says an Akshiptika song is sung for the entry of entry and for an exit, a Kandadara song is sung. The other music and dance varieties like Vipadika, I told you, no, the terms Jambalika, Kandadara, Charchari, Binnaka, Kandaka, Kuraka, Kakuba, Kutila, Mallagati, Valantika, and others are explained in the commentary. But we don't have any connection with the present day musical forms. Besides these, some gestures and postures like Chaturashraka, Ardha Chaturashraka, Sthanaka are mentioned. Of course, we know Chaturashraka is there in the Nrittahasta. The first Nrittahasta is Chaturashra. And we also have a posture called Chaturashraka mentioned in Natya Shastra, 4th chapter. He defines Saushtava and Chaturashra. He says the body alignments straight, almost in Aramandi, and the hands in aligning with the shoulder and the elbows is called Chaturashra. So it is like our Natyarambha. The Hasta, of course, the Chaturashra and Nritta Hasta, according to Bharata, is our present day Namaskaram Hasta, because this is also Katakamukha, this is also Katakamukha. It is 1 angula apart from the chest, in line with the shoulder and the elbow. So again, this is Chaturashraka is still now in our Bharatanatyam Namaskaram format, where we start, even some Dalang, Kutakati, Kutakata, Rikitato, many of them start this way, ulta. Some of them start outside. So these are called Chaturashraka and Ardha Chaturashraka and Sthanakas. Then comes Sataka, the third variety. It's a musical play, Kaishiki and Bharati Vritti. It has more of dialogues which are sung. The Charchari and Challi are employed. Salli are employed in this play. Rajashekara's Karpura Manjari, it is available, is one of the example. The prologue of this drama states that Sataka is to be danced. Group of dancers performed this with various Nrittagatis, he says. So the Nrittagatis, I just brought in one of the dance drama or the Bhanaka, Bhanika, Sattaka variety. Another verse states that the shoulders lead with the arms and the lance, and on the another dancer's shoulder, accurate in line and line facing from each other in Salli pattern. We have even now we have that type of performance. The Salli is of Nritta type, accompanied by a huduka, which is a kind of drum which occurs in Dombika, and another kind of Uparupaka. So there were drums performed, drum dances performed. Drums were used. Drums means it need not be a big one, it can be a small one. This resembles the Lata Bandha Pindi, which connects with each other. One girl connects with the another girl, described by Bharata. There are references in Karpura Manjari which says a deer-eyed girl sounding a modulated kutuka with the noise of the delightful Mattala has started performing the Challi rite with the arm-like creepers moving in the series. So we have the hands moving like arms, moving like creepers, and on other girl moving towards the other dancer. Other performers form a play of dancing of a circle, in a circle, having loud noise of the anklets, tinkling of the bells, and its rhythm is regulated to the tempo of the song in their throat. Even now we have the folk dances in the same form, where they put their hands on the other partner and they move around. If you see, in northern side and northeastern folk dances are similar to this. And Dombika, as I told you, it is mentioned in Abhinava Bharati. It's another variety of Uparupaka. Abhinavagupta explained Dombi as a dancer, distinguishing as the dancer imitates the role of the heroine. So we dancers can be connected with the term Dombi because role of the heroine appearing in her form. So we are taking the role of the heroine, and we are, if you take a Varnam, we are taking the whole role of the Naika and performing. So this is the type like a Nach done by a single Nartaki. That is how the Sadir came into existence, and we have this Sadir reference, Nach reference in Dombi itself, nearly in the 10th century Abhinava Bharati's text. This is what I have brought in my paper. Accompanying singers and the dancers, Dombi is a kind of drum and a class of community. We don't know which is right, but both are given. Of course, class of community, people accomplished in more music and dance. We have the Isai Vellala community. Till now, Isai Vellalas were the dancers and the musicians. We all know that was a community-based performance. Now only it has become a worldwide known art form. And Dombi is a kind of drum. They had a particular instrument in their hand and danced. And the Dombi concentrates on the song, dance movements, which the Nartaki executes according to the Laya. These should have the Nritta Karanas and based on rhythm and can be performed for the Vakyartha Abhinaya. The Abhinaya is based on the whole meaning of the sentence of the song. During these dance interludes, the Hudka drum is played as an accompanist. And the Abhinava states that in the vernacular, this is called Silmarga, Chilmargas. C is chill, cha, Chilmarga. This should be similar to the Challi dance mentioned in Sattaka. Abhinava says that the Ranaka and others in their Dombikas and the like arrange 4 Apsaras who exit with the dancer. So there is a dancer in between Dombi with 4 Apsaras. That is where I recreated one Purvaranga with 5 girls. 1 in the center and 4 along with the dancers. They did all the Karanas and the Angaharas as a Purvaranga. This structure may correspond to that of the 4 Vastus of the Chalita. And the other dances, we already saw Chalita. This observation is made in connection with the group dance forms, the formations, Pindi Bandhas given in Natya Shastra, that it relates to the group dancers. When the solo dancer is there, Dombi is there, the group is there. The 4 of them are accompanying the solo dancer and they perform the Pindi Bandhas. This is similar to the dance which we do in Purvaranga, as I told you now, where Bharata states that the Nartaki should exit and the other 4 dancers should enter. She will exit and 4 will come. Then the 4 will exit and the dancer will come and all of them will finally do a formation. So Dombika has Kaishiki Vritti, Bharati Vritti, the song and the singing and the vachanas. And we can even have the Sollukattus, Jatis, Veera, Shringara, Rasas, beautiful Nepatya, beautiful costuming, and all the 10 Lasyangas can be used. That is why he says the Lasyangas were used in Purvaranga. Bhana, according to Shringara Prakasha and Bhava Prakasha, comes under other Uparupakas. It is in praise. So now, this is Bana, the form of, already we saw one of the Rupaka is called Bana. According to Bhava Prakasha and Shringara Prakasha, Bana is brought under Uparupaka. It is in the praise of God There is no female character. It has description of Nrsimha and the boar with forceful actions. So each and every song had a different genre and a name. Like we see, in Shabdam, it has to be only this type. In Varnam, it has to be only Sringara, only Virahotkandita, or more of the Naika base. Like that it must be. Only in Kirtanam, it can be Bhakti. Maybe it was like that. Now we bring in everything. Okay, so there were the genres specific for that particular dance. And this Bana was considered as Rupaka by some of them and Uparupaka by some of them. So, but because it has both Lalita and Uddhata, the talas given, see, any tala we are able to connect? No. Ratya, Dvipata, Bhagna tala. They are all mentioned. The dancer will perform description of Narasimha and Sukara and Gati of Gaja will be there with song and dance sequence. This is single man show, Bhana, which is presently done by the group, the director being P.L. Bhattacharya ji from Kolkata, and the Shayak Mishra is performing the Bhana, and also it can be Bhanaka and Uparupaka. So Bana is Rupaka, and Bhanaka comes under Uparupaka. If it is a feminine or female performing, it is called Bhanika. That's why Bhanika comes. That's why my guru says the dance dramas like Ramaya Tubhyam, Krishnaya Tubhyam, when she started doing, she says that it is Ekaharya, it is a drama, Nritya based, Nrityatmaka. So she is connecting. Of course, it has the Karanas and other things, Charis. So she connects it with the Bhanika form of Uparupaka. Bhanika is a dance similar to Bana but delicate in nature. Sukumara Prayoga of Bana is Bhanika. Bhanika is distinguished from Bani. Some say Bani, some say Bhanika. It should have Divya Charis and Lalita Karanas. Nritta punctuated with Tala and Laya. Many say that the Karanas and Charis do not have Tala. They are just going in Sarvalagul. No. It can be brought under any of the talas. Then comes Sharada Tanaya, who adds that the actions of playful fight of young ones, of Sukara and Simha, they can all come under Bhanika. So maybe that time it was very popular, the Sukara and Simha performances. Maybe under the Bhanika style, we don't know. Because they say that it is popular, it was prominent. Some of the terms, no? Coming to Rasaka. Rasaka, 16 or 12 dancers dance and form Pindi Bandhas. Pindis like Shrinkala, Bedyaka, Lata. They are all given in Natya Shastra, 4 varieties of Pindi Bandhas, which are group formations. They have forceful and delicate movements of the body, and the Pindis project Vakyartha Abhinaya and not the Padartha. They do not give word to word meaning, but they give a holistic meaning. So these are group dance formations, Pindi Bandhas. Sharada Tanaya also gives under Natya Rasaka. So according to Abhinava, Rasakas of 2 types, Sukumara and Uddhata. It can be soft and it can be. So there are patterns of Pindi Bandhas. Trishula Pindi, Hala Pindi, Sarpa Pindi, Pasha Pindi, Dhara Pindi, Padma Pindi, varieties of Pindis. Group formations are mentioned in these Rasakas. And then Harivamsha mentions Shalikya, and Bamaha also mentions Dvipadi along with Rasaka. Dvipadi, as I told you, it is a song variety, singing variety, which is also performed as a dance. Women sing and dance, but there is no abhinaya. It is more of nritta element, and the patterns resemble the varieties, like as I told you, Padma Pindi. So it doesn't directly communicate. If it directly communicates, it becomes Padartha Abhinaya. It communicates in a holistic way. So that is Vakyartha Abhinaya. It is still Nritta. That's why he says Nritta need not communicate. So Rasaka, as we all know, the Rasaka, present day Ras Leela, 64 pairs and varieties of Tala and Laya. We all have, I have, see the pictures. Many of them are pictures now. The 64 pairs, the Ras Leela, see the Challi performance. The girl is having a damaru like thing here. See, these are girls. Two of them are girls. Some are men. She's a girl. This is a man. This is a man with a damaru, mridanga like instrument. Others are all dancing. So see how the patterns of Rasaka. And now we also have the Natya Rasaka. Again, Natya Rasaka. It is based on love. And female dancers depict their love towards the king. So that's why the Malavika Agnimitra's dance was also can be connected with the Natya Rasaka. Boja opines that the term Charchari is seen in the opening of the Ratnavali drama. They perform a rhythmic syllable and it is coming under the Natya Rasaka varieties. Natya Rasaka Charchari is performed with Varnatala, Samacharya. There are many technical terms. The instrumental beats become faster and set in 5s, 4s and 3s. See, we have the faster, even now in Bhajana Sampradaya, we make it very fast, no? That is how these characters, after this, the other characters may enter with Arpanaka, Panavatala, Ratyavaranas. So these are all, we don't know what it is, what are all the particular instruments. Some, of course, PRG has reconstructed the instruments itself. So then comes the Dandarasaka. Dandarasaka, of course, it is based on the Danda, the sticks. We all have still the Dandiyaras and the Kolatam of the South India. They are all Vichitra Bandas, 16 pairs. They have Dritta Gatis. The Sangeeta Samaya Sara describes these types of Dandarasakas. And Dhrittaratnavali refers to Dandarasakas as variations, dance with the sticks. These are all Dandarasakas. And we have the other small varieties which are very, we don't know about these varieties. Prastanaka, Nartanaka, which has Vipadi, Chalika, the same term almost. And Boja mentions the important features of Nartanaka, slow tempo, Lasya, Chalika, Dvipadi are the forms which can be seen here. And Samya, the keeping Talam, the Talam is very important. That is what is given here. And then Hallisa, of course you all know Hallisa is that which I showed already. The Hallisa is the dancing with Krishna. The gopis and Krishna. See, beautiful dance forms in these are called Hallisa forms. See, these are Dandarasakas. And we have these types of dramas seen in, dances seen in Balacharita, dance drama. Uparupaka, we have Balacharita, Hallisha. Balacharita is written by Bhasa, one of the Balacharita. It's so beautiful. You have to read that drama. So, coming to the end, we have the Nauka Charitra by our Tyagaraja, and we have the dance dramas, Shakuntalam performance. See how dance is, Gati is brought in here, and the Abhinaya. So, Ullopyaka, Prekshanaka, Sallapaka, Shilpaka, these are all varieties. Goshti, Kalpavalli is based on Hasya and Shringara. Sri Gadita, see, it is Vipralamba Shringara. based on Vipralamba Shringara. The Nayika is alone and sitting alone. So see how the dance happens around the Krishna and the Gopi. See everybody carrying the element, the Durmallika, as I told you. These are Mallika, Parijataka. These all had many graceful movements, gatis, talas, etc. Ramakrida. Ramakrida is one of the dance drama form. And that is how there are many technical terms connected with these, which are of Nritta and Nritya variety. Some are known now, but some terms are obsolete. These dance sequences have many varieties of Nritta Kathis, which have been explained in Nrityaratnavali, Sangita Ratnakara, etc. And that is how I have reconstructed some of the Uparupakas. Of course, not as a performance, I have not brought it, but in a paper, I have done some of the reconstruction, and these are the details given as Uparupakas. Yes, sorry, I've taken your time also, but any questions?
Thank you, Sujata ji, for a very, very informative session, I should say. A lot has been communicated by you. It will take some time for everybody to assimilate them, reflect upon them. So meanwhile, a rapid fire session that I was thinking of to ask you, not for any judgment, but just because I would like to know from my end, and also as a conclusive, what we have to see you for the last over an hour, I should say. So, am I right in asking you that this can be Uparupaka, can be Ekapatra, and can have just, there is one character, or can have multiple also? It's not that Uparupaka was typically our solo format, right? So it can have both the varieties. Right. And was there any structure, like it also has a Purvaranga and then the plot and the Bija, Bindu, Prakariya, typically of Natya Shastra, like a Rupaka?
I have seen only the Sattaka Uparupaka as the book form. Karpura Manjari. It is fully in Prakrit, as I told you. Okay. The other Uparupakas I have not seen in a book form or even in a manuscript form. So I don't think those were all there.
So the performance part, Purvaranga, is still included with the Vidushaka and Trigata and all that.
Of course it must be, but and that must be there. But the plot, of course, it is a connecting plot, we all know. Without the plot, it cannot go through. So it should have been there.
Yeah, that means because we were highlighting that Rupakas are basically rasa based, like what Sharada Tanaya as Bhava Prakasha says, and Uparupakas is more of Bhava based. So by then the terms Nritya has come. Nritya basically is Bhava based and Natya is rasa based. Yes. So that's the reason why I asked you, was it a single theme, or was it like what we do today, a myriad themes between one performance, isn't it?
Yeah.
So maybe that was a later evolution, like at that time it still would have been one theme.
A single theme throughout with one particular name.
Like the Nirupanas also had that, right?
Yeah, single
17,
theme.
18 items.
Yeah. In between it might be like dances, more of dances.
So that is basically the Kaishiki Vritti is highlighted. That is the special part of Uparupaka. You spoke about Bhanika. I've also come across Bhanaka. I've heard about that also.
Performing is Bhanika.
Okay. Ladies who are
performing. And as a dance drama is Bhanaka. As a drama is Bhana.
Can we have dialogue, Sujata ji, in an Uparupaka also like we have in Rupakas? Are they also seen as part of the dance? Like we have sometimes dialogues in our dance dramas.
Dialogues are also there, and sometimes the musical dialogues. The dialogues are also presented in a musical way.
Great. And you spoke about Halisa towards the end. Nartana Nirnaya speaks about that, am I right?
Halisa, yeah.
That's where Krishna becomes a hero deified, unlike the usual Shiva that we see. And Harivamsha is the same sequel of Mahabharata?
Yeah. Harivamsha is
Okay,
also speaking about.
that mentions.
Almost.
Okay, great. So, other than that, can we broadly say that Rupaka comes under Margi and Uparupakas under Deshi?
Of course.
Yes,
Marga
because for
and
a general understanding, these are the highlights that. And
yes.
Dombika, even in the chapter of, as you said, Tandava Lakshana, Abhinav Gupta has connected Tandu's performance with the Dombika variety. But then you put in the slide, Dombika is by ladies, Nartakis. So it can be
Yeah.
also by Dombikas because Tandu performed a dance like a Dombika is what is mentioned, right? So.
It is mentioned in one place, but Dombika, he says that Dombi comes, the lady comes, she performs with the Uduka and everything. Abhinava only mentions.
Okay.
So that maybe it is a variety from taught by Shiva to Tandu, and Tandu reflected that variety. But that need not be.
Because I've
Because the
heard
case,
in one of Dr. Padma's talk itself about Dombika's and Tandu's
yeah,
performance being
yeah.
connected. So I think that's all from my end, which I had written, and very, very useful also because you said that the Tala chapter says, Bharata says, Lasya can be performed by men and women, which seemed to be
Ah.
a revelation,
That is
actually.
a Lasyanga. Lasyanga. The varieties of Lasyas. They are
Lasyangas, right.
10 in number and 12 in number.
No,
Gaya Padas,
by men
Padya.
and women, when you said
Yeah,
that last, yeah.
yeah, it is there in that chapter. So that's why I told, according to Bharata, Tandava can also be performed by men and women. Uddata
Exactly.
Prayoga, Sukumara Prayoga. And Lasyanga can be
Because
performed by
Uddata and
men and women.
Sukumara comes in later, no, in the Deshi times, the
No.
terms
In Bharata
persist.
itself it is there.
But had a
Uddata,
different meaning. It was not exactly like we say today Uddata is Tandava and Sukumara is
same
Lasya.
meaning. Same meaning. Uddata is forceful, Sukumara is graceful. When the same Karanas, Bharata says, when the same Karanas were performed by Parvati in Sukumara Prayoga, they were all happy. All the Bhutaganas were happy and they created Pindi Bandhas by connecting the Tandava, Uddata Prayoga of Shiva and the Sukumara Prayoga of Parvati. So the forceful and the graceful elements were included in the Pindi Bandhas. That is what given. So it is both are for both. But only from after 10th century, Tandava is male and Lasya is
Yeah,
female.
because we never realized that it was actually connected to Tandu that the word Tandava itself came about. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Sujata ji. And I now leave the floor open if there are questions from our audience or in the chat box. Kindly, yes, you can type, but I'm not seeing any questions so far. So
I
we
don't
will
have
wait for
any
another
questions.
5 minutes. Anything else that you want to add, Sujataji, from your end as a conclusions? Another 2-3 minutes, and
Uh,
then we can ask Mamtaji to come in.
so that's nice. Actually, I've been working on these Uparupakas. I have also presented one paper to our Shastra journal. It is there. This paper is there fully in the Shastra journal. So I just worked on some of the Uparupakas. But the elements are still seen in our dance forms. Like if you take the Lasyangas, Geyapadas, Sitapatya, sitting along with the musicians, but the musicians are not playing, only the dancer is singing in Viraha. Shruti has given one question. Reading material. Is there any reading material to learn more? That's what I told now. The Shruti is Shastra journal of our Aria University has the same paper almost, but in a very detailed way. And other than that, you can go and read all these textbooks. I told no Bhava Prakasha is available in Internet Archive. Vishwanatha's Sahitya Darpana is available. Shringara Prakasha is available. Boja Shringara Prakasha is available in archives. All these books are there. And Dasharupaka is available. So you can take all these books one by one and read slowly. Whichever has the English translation, you prefer that first. And start reading the text. So you can find out many more details, not only the Uparupakas. There are many other things to be understood. Yes. So I think we will wind up with this.
Wait for Mamtaji. Yes, thank you.
Please, here.
Yeah, sorry. Thank you, Akka, for a fantastic session. I mean, it was very, very informative. I did not know that there were so many things to, the Uparupakas, and there are just, I mean, it seems to go on, and it has just made me want to go and look at it more deeply. So thank you for this, Sujata.
Thank you, Anuradha. There are nritta varieties, no? There are many of the nritta varieties. Then you have to look through, after you have your viva, you have to connect your PhD with this. So it will be interesting.
No, but what was fantastic is the connection that you made between the Uparupakas and the various things, like when you spoke about some of the dance dramas that we are familiar with today and we see. So the connection is what was beautiful, where I think for all of us, you see the dance drama, but you never connect it to the different type of...
Shastra was brought in front of her Prayoga, which is most important.
So it was phenomenal. I think that is what makes a scholar, right? So yes, you are a performer, but how you connect it with the text behind and how you can bring forth that knowledge to your dance, I think what makes a researcher, scholar, and a performer, and that's what all of us aspire to be. So thank you so much, Akka. It was phenomenal. I think I will have to go through these in order to get a complete grasp of the entire thing, go through the whole webinar again in order to get a complete grasp of the things, but it was phenomenal. Thank you so much for it.
We're looking forward for your session tomorrow, Anuradha.
Thank you.
Yes. I exhort all the audience to come back soon in full numbers tomorrow. Yes. Yes, Mamtaji, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sujata ji, so much for this session. And I'm not a dancer, but I did see that was a lot of information for the attendees. So I hope they all enjoyed too these sessions. And thanks to Padmaja ji for moderating this beautifully, and Anuradha ji for being present here. And thanks to each one of you, all the attendees who joined this session. And as you know, we have one more coming up in Bharatanatyam by Anuradha Ramesh ji. So please do join that as well. And also have posted a tiny URL. If you can share your contact, if you have not registered for this session, please enter your contact details so we can share more information about these kind of sessions to you in the future. So yeah, with that we can end the session for today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Namaste.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste.